What do we know about our geographical ancestors? The people who, thousands of years ago, lived in and around Jefferson County, Iowa. Since the early 1830s, scientists have been fascinated by a remarkable grouping of about 20 middle woodland mounds at the top of a bluff overlooking the Mississippi River Valley at the mouth of the Iowa River. These mounds may hold the key to our understanding of the people who lived here 2,000 years ago during a time known as the Hopewell Horizon.
People were living probably on a seasonal basis in the Jefferson County area, and then would gather together on a periodic basis for ritual, ceremony, sharing of information, sharing of objects. The native people of the region built over 20 mounds. Some of them were really large, 8 or 10 feet in height and 80 or 90 feet across. The artifacts found in the mounds at Toolesboro are made of raw materials that came from a long distance. There's copper from Lake Superior, there's obsidian, volcanic glass from the Rocky Mountains, the Yellowstone area. There are grizzly bear teeth, there are marine shells from the Gulf of Mexico, sheets of mineral mica from the Appalachian Mountains. So really more than half the continent made it into the communities that gathered at Toolesboro.
The important thing in Native American societies is not just raw materials or finished products. You trade with the people that you trust. And how do you trust people? Over time and through relationships. For the Oneota people, they were best known for their trade in buffalo hides and buffalo scapular hose, along with pipestone.
So they took blocks of pipestone from northern Illinois, the Rock River, and brought it down into southeast Iowa, and then manufactured these tobacco pipes right on site. And the smoking rituals that went along with the pipes were the ways of establishing good connections with other people. The people who lived in southeast Iowa had access to some very important local resources as well. And these are mostly chert, the tools, the projectile points, spears, arrows, knives, scrapers, drills. All of these very, very important tools were made out of chert. In southeast Iowa, there are two very significant types of chert. One is Burlington chert, and the other type that's much more limited to Skunk River Valley and in the Jefferson County area in particular is Croton tabular chert. So it comes out of the bedrock already no more than about an inch thick, but in a very large tablet. So it makes it easy to create broad, thin spear points and knives. And in nature, it has a very light gray color with yellow edges. But then when you heat it up slowly and carefully, then the gray part darkens. You get a very nice, lustrous, dark gray. And then the yellow edges turn this crimson, salmon reddish color. People all over the Midwest were interested in obtaining these points. Hopewell was simply the name of the owner of a farm in Ohio that had one of these large mound groups, and the early excavators decided to call it the Hopewell site after the name of the owner. So it's just a random term that has come to really represent an entire culture, or really a group of cultures that spread across 2/3 of the continent 2,000 years ago.
Archaeologists give names to cultures based upon material culture, right? But there's a part that they really have a hard time getting at. The thinking, the religious system, the symbolism, the identity, those things aren't shown up in the archaeological record. But the ideas behind them, the symbols, the iconography, the images, that's how we know that these people were somehow connected in this trading exchange. Not only the materials that connected, they're found thousands of miles from where they were actually taken from, to these symbols of how they look the same. Images on cave walls, things like that. You can tell that these people have a common belief system, a common thinking about how the world is by some of the imagery.
The people who lived in Iowa and throughout the Midwest 2,000 years ago were artists. They had skills in ceramics, in fiber arts, and in, of course, stone tool making, in woodworking, copper working. Not just the artistry, but the engineering knowledge to create a mound that would last for 2,000 years. The astronomical alignments that are involved in some of these sites. You know, these people were engineers and geometricians. They had a very rich integrated way of life and also had a very rich family life. If we can learn from that kind of balance, I think that's a good thing. I was saying, the stone was so important. You know, maybe not. Maybe the stories were more important. You know, maybe the songs were more important. You know, but the stone is all we have left.